Luna Lovegood is one of the most fascinating characters in Harry Potter. What makes her stand out even more is how perfectly the actress captured her essence, just as she was described in the books. She's kind, brave, and unique, with an eccentric charm that sets her apart. Probably the strangest character in the entire series. She spoke at odd moments, believed in things others dismissed as nonsense, wore bizarre outfits, and had a peculiar way of talking. But why was she so unusual? What lay behind her dreamy kindness? Luna's past holds secrets that shaped her in ways few realize. Luna was a proud Ravenclaw, which meant she was highly intelligent. Some even argue she would have fit in Gryffindor given her bravery. A year younger than Harry, she met him, Ron, and Hermione only in her 4th year. At first, her classmates mocked her for her odd appearance, strange speech, and distant demeanor. But as the battle against Voldemort unfolded, Luna proved her courage and brilliance, earning everyone's respect. She fought Death Eaters, hunted Horcruxes, and stood with Dumbledore's army against the Dark Lord. After the war, she married and became a renowned magizoologist, traveling the world to study magical creatures and discovering entirely new species. Her unusual nature was deeply rooted in her past. Luna's parents, Xenophilius and Pandora Lovegood, were anything but ordinary. Her mother, a gifted witch, loved experimenting with spells. But one of her experiments went horribly wrong. She died right before 9-year-old Luna's eyes. This tragedy left a mark on the little girl. She withdrew into herself, finding solace in fantasy and the unseen. Her father, equally eccentric, adored her. After losing his wife, he poured all his love into Luna, shielding her from reality with whimsical stories and magical ideas. He raised her in a world where the impossible seemed possible, where creatures others dismissed as myths were real. Luna's oddities had clear reasons. Her unique fashion sense mirrored her father's. Her detachment came from being raised in a bubble of imagination, a way to escape the grief of losing her mother. The quiet sadness beneath her dreamy exterior was a wound from childhood that never fully healed. But despite, or maybe because of, her quirks, Luna is one of the most beloved characters. She carried pain yet remained strong, kind, and compassionate, not just to people but to all living beings. What do you think of Luna Lovegood? Luna's resilience made her stand out in a world where people often dismissed anything outside the ordinary. She wasn't just strange, she was unwaveringly herself, refusing to change to fit into other people's expectations. Even when mocked, even when excluded, she never stopped believing in the things that brought her comfort. But Luna's kindness wasn't just softness, it was strength. She forgave people who laughed at her, never held grudges, and always looked for the good in others. She saw beauty in places no one else thought to look. Where others saw madness, she found meaning. Perhaps that's why she connected so deeply with Harry. He too had spent years being misunderstood. While others dismissed Luna's belief in creatures like Nargles, they dismissed Harry's warnings about Voldemort's return. Both knew what it felt like to be doubted, to be called crazy. And both carried invisible scars of loss. Luna never pitied Harry. She understood him. When he grieved Sirius, she spoke about her mother's death, not with sadness, but with the quiet acceptance of someone who had long made peace with the unchangeable. "Things we lose have a way of coming back to us in the end," she told him, and she truly believed it. She believed in life beyond death, in unseen creatures, in magic beyond spellwork. She believed in love and kindness even in the darkest times. And that belief was never shaken, even in the face of war. During the Second Wizarding War, Luna's courage was tested again and again. When the Death Eaters took control of Hogwarts, she didn't cower in fear. She fought back. She helped Neville and Ginny form an underground resistance, protecting younger students, sabotaging Snape's regime, and keeping hope alive in a school drowning in terror. Then one day, she disappeared. The Death Eaters took her. They knew her father had been publishing pro-Potter articles in the Quibbler, and they wanted to silence him. To force his compliance, they took his only child. For months, Luna was held captive in Malfoy Manor, locked away alongside Ollivander. But even in a cold, dark cell, she never lost herself. She comforted Ollivander, giving him the strength to endure. She remained calm, patient, and hopeful, even when escape seemed impossible. And when Dobby came to rescue them, she was ready. At Shell Cottage, where she recovered, Luna's spirit remained unbroken. She tended to her fellow survivors with gentle hands and a steady heart. She reassured those who were scared, encouraged those who doubted, and never let fear dictate her actions. When the time came for the final battle at Hogwarts, Luna didn't hesitate. She returned to the castle, stood with her friends, and fought for the world she believed in. She was there in the Great Hall when Harry faced Voldemort. She was there when it all ended. And when the war was finally over, when the dust settled and the names of the lost were whispered through the halls, Luna didn't disappear into grief. She moved forward, not because she forgot, but because she knew the ones they lost wouldn't want them to stay in sorrow forever. She found love, not in fame or power, but in the wonders of the world. She married Rolf Scamander, grandson of Newt Scamander, and together they travelled the globe, studying magical creatures in places others dared not go. Luna never stopped seeing magic where others saw nothing. She lived a life of adventure, of curiosity, of kindness. And though she changed, she remained undeniably, beautifully Luna. Even as she grew older, people still whispered about her oddness. Some still laughed at her wild theories, but it never bothered her. She had learned long ago that it didn't matter what people thought. It only mattered that she stayed true to herself. And she always did.